In the dim glow of candlelight flickering against stone walls, a figure moves silently through the corridors of a Florentine palace, his footsteps muffled by thick Persian rugs that whisper secrets underfoot. The scent of aged leather and ink lingers in the air, mingling with the faint aroma of rosemary from the gardens below, where night has draped its velvet cloak over the Arno River. He pauses at a heavy oak door, his hand hovering over the latch, ears attuned to the soft murmur of voices within a woman's laughter, light and melodic, cutting through the deeper timbre of a man's persuasion. Outside, the distant toll of a bell echoes through the mist-shrouded streets, marking the hour when alliances are forged or shattered in shadows. This man, clad in a simple woolen cloak that belies his cunning mind, isn't here by chance. He's orchestrated this moment like a maestro conducting an unseen symphony. The woman inside, adorned in silks that rustle like autumn leaves, believes she's in control, her words weaving a web of flirtation and intrigue. But he knows better. He's studied the rhythms of human desire, the subtle shifts in posture that betray hidden vulnerabilities, the way a glance can ignite or extinguish a flame. As he pushes the door open just a crack, the warm rush of hearth fire meets his face, carrying with it the spice of mulled wine and the undercurrent of tension that thickens the room. She turns, her eyes meeting his for a fleeting second, a spark of curiosity flashing before she masks it with a practiced smile. He steps in, the door creaking shut behind him, sealing them in a dance of power where every word is a weapon, every silence a strategy. What unfolds next isn't mere conversation. It's a calculated unraveling, where emotions are threads pulled taut until they snap or bind. The man speaks softly, his voice a velvet blade, probing her thoughts with questions that seem innocent but cut to the core of her insecurities. She responds, drawn in by the illusion of intimacy, unaware that he's mapping her psyche like a cartographer charting unclaimed territory. The fire crackles, popping embers that mirror the building heat in the air. As he leans closer, his breath warm against her ear, whispering promises laced with ambiguity. Her pulse quickens, visible in the subtle throb at her throat, a telltale sign he's noted and filed away. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the lated windows, as if the night itself conspires in this game. He watches her reactions, the way her fingers tighten around the stem of her goblet, the slight dilation of her pupils in the low light, each detail a puzzle piece in his grand design. This isn't love, it's leverage, a masterful play where affection is currency and trust a fleeting commodity. As the conversation deepens, he introduces a contradiction, praise wrapped in subtle doubt, making her question her own allure while craving his approval. She laughs again, but this time it's edged with uncertainty, her confidence fracturing like glass under pressure. He smiles inwardly, knowing he's planted a seed of dependency, a root that will grow in the fertile soil of her emotions. The room feels smaller now, the air charged with unspoken intentions as he guides her toward revelations she never intended to share. Secrets spill forth like wine from an overturned cup, staining the tapestry of their interaction. He absorbs them all, his mind a vault of information, ready to be wielded at the opportune moment. The candle flames dance erratically, casting elongated shadows that mimic the twisted paths of their dialogue. She reaches out, her hand brushing his sleeve, a gesture of connection he allows but doesn't reciprocate fully, maintaining the delicate balance of pursuit and retreat. This push and pull is his art, honed through years of observation in courts where fortunes rise and fall on the whims of the powerful. As the bell tolls again, signaling the deepening night, he senses her yielding, her defenses crumbling under the weight of his subtle manipulations. Yet, on the surface, all appears harmonious, a shared glance, a mutual understanding forged in the heat of the moment. But beneath it, he's the architect, building empires of influence, one whispered word at a time. The mystery lingers. Who is this man, and what ancient wisdom feels his command over hearts? The contradiction sharpens. She believes she's chosen this path, but in truth, he's laid it out before her, invisible strings guiding her every step. As he rises to leave, planting a final seed of intrigue with a parting remark that echoes in her mind long after he's gone. The palace settles into silence, the river below murmuring approvals to the stars. This scene, etched in the annals of history, reveals a timeless truth about the human soul, where power isn't seized by force but by understanding the hidden levers that move us all. And in this understanding lies the key to dominion, not just over realms, but over the intricate landscapes of desire and devotion. The man vanishes into the night, his cloak blending with the shadows, leaving behind a woman forever altered, her world tilted on the axis she can't quite perceive. Such is the essence of control, subtle, insidious, and profoundly effective. Now, as we delve deeper, consider how these echoes from the past resonate in the present, shaping interactions in ways we seldom acknowledge. The strategies employed in that candlelit chamber weren't born of whim. They stemmed from a philosophy that dissected the human condition with surgical precision. Machiavelli, the enigmatic Florentine diplomat, didn't just advise princes on ruling states. His insights pierced the veil of personal relations, particularly those fraught with the complexities of gender dynamics. In his era, women navigated a world of limited agency, yet they wielded influence through subtler means, alliances, affections, and the art of persuasion. Machiavelli observed this keenly, noting how emotional bonds could be forged or fractured to serve greater ends. He understood that women, often positioned as pawns in political games, possessed their own arsenal of psychological defenses and desires. To control them wasn't about brute force. It was about infiltrating the mind, exploiting the innate yearnings for security, validation, and connection. Picture the Renaissance courts, alive with intrigue, where a single glance could topple dynasties. Machiavelli's writings, though ostensibly about statecraft, brim with lessons on human nature that apply universally. He advocated for adaptability, for being both the lion and the fox fierce when needed, cunning always. In matters of the heart, this translates to a duality, projecting strength while subtly undermining resistance. Women, in his view, responded to a blend of fear and love, but he cautioned that love alone was fickle. Fear, when veiled as respect, endured. Yet, his approach went deeper, tapping into the psychology of vulnerability. Women of his time, bound by societal chains, sought liberation through attachment, making them susceptible to men who promised elevation while ensuring dependency. He mastered the art of feigned vulnerability, revealing just enough to invite reciprocity, drawing out confessions that became tools for leverage. This wasn't mere seduction. It was psychological warfare, where empathy served as reconnaissance. Fast forward to today, and these principles echo in modern relationships, where emotional intelligence reigns supreme. The hidden psychology Machiavelli wielded involved decoding the female psyche's layers, the surface allure masking deeper insecurities, the quest for emotional depths amid superficial interactions. He knew that women often process emotions through relational lenses, seeking harmony where men might pursue conquest. By aligning his tactics with this, he created bonds that felt organic but were engineered for control. Consider the tactic of strategic ambiguity, saying enough to intrigue, withholding enough to obsess. In that palace room, his words were laced with double meanings, forcing her to interpret, to invest mentally, binding her closer. This creates a cognitive dissonance, a contradiction where doubt fuels desire. Psychologically, women thrive on emotional narratives, crafting stories around interactions. Machiavelli hijacked this by providing incomplete scripts, compelling her to fill in blanks favorably to him. The result? An illusion of mutual discovery, where she's the architect of her own entrapment. Sensory details amplify this: the warmth of proximity, the timbre of voice modulating to evoke comfort or tension. He used touch sparingly, a brush of fingers that ignited neural pathways of attachment, releasing oxytocin that bonded her subconsciously. Modern neuroscience validates this. Such cues trigger reward centers, making manipulation feel like destiny. But Machiavelli's genius lay in timing, knowing when to advance, when to retreat. mirroring the ebb and flow of emotional tides. Women, often attuned to relational rhythms, respond to this synchronicity, mistaking it for soul deep connection. He exploited confirmation bias, planting ideas that align with her preconceptions, reinforcing her worldview while steering it toward his goals. Contradictions were his allies, praising her independence while subtly questioning it, creating a push-pull that heightened emotional investment. This immersion in her psyche wasn't accidental. It required observation, patience, and the willingness to embody whatever role served the end. In essence, he became the mirror reflecting her ideal self, distorted just enough to keep her striving. As we explore further, these threads weave into a tapestry of domination where emotional control supersedes physical. The palace scene wasn't isolated. It repeated across history, in bedrooms and boardrooms alike. Machiavelli's legacy teaches that true power over women stems from understanding their psychological architecture, the pillars of empathy, the foundations of fear, the spires of aspiration. By dismantling and rebuilding these, one achieves not just influence, but mastery. Delving into the first strategy, the art of calculated vulnerability. Machiavelli posited that princes must appear merciful yet be capable of cruelty. Transposed to interpersonal dynamics, this means revealing weaknesses selectively to foster trust. With women, who often prioritize emotional openness, this tactic disarms defenses. Share a fabricated flaw, perhaps a past betrayal that echoes her own experiences, and watch as she opens up in solidarity. The key is authenticity in delivery. Feign sincerity with details that resonate sensorially. The sting of loss, the chill of isolation. This creates reciprocity, a psychological contract where her disclosures become your ammunition, but never overexpose. Vulnerability is bait, not surrender. Once hooked, pivot to strength, positioning yourself as her protector against shared foes. This duality, weak enough to relate, strong enough to lead, taps into evolutionary psychology, where women seek providers who understand fragility. Machiavelli observed this in Medici courts, where consorts confided in advisors who mirrored their pains, only to find themselves maneuvered into alliances. Today, it's the same. In dating apps or dinners, deploy this to accelerate intimacy. Follow with emotional anchoring. Associate positive feelings with your presence. Compliment not her beauty too superficial, but her intellect or resilience, linking it to your approval. Psychologically, this conditions her dopamine responses, making separation uncomfortable. Machiavelli used flattery judiciously, knowing excess breeds suspicion. Instead, intersperse it with light challenges, creating a roller coaster that addicts. The contradiction here is empowerment through subtle diminishment. Build her up, then imply room for improvement under your guidance. This fosters dependency, her self-worth tethered to your validation. Sensory immersion enhances this soft lighting. Intimate settings that heighten vulnerability. He scents, touches, voices, modulate mood. Use them to imprint memories. As bonds deepen, introduce scarcity. Withdraw attention sporadically, triggering abandonment fears. Women socialize for connection, chase harder, inverting power dynamics. Machiavelli's fox-like cunning shines here appear indispensable while remaining detached. This isn't heartless, it's strategic, ensuring loyalty born of need. Layer in social proof. Surround yourself with admirers, subtly displayed, exploiting her competitive instincts. Psychologically, women evaluate mates through preselection. Machiavelli leveraged this in diplomatic circles, where rumored affections amplified his allure. Contradict this with exclusivity promises, making her feel chosen amid options. The mystery sustains. Why her? This question keeps her engaged, unraveling your enigma. Through these, immersion becomes total. Her thoughts orbit you, emotions synchronize to your cues. Machiavelli's psychology wasn't theoretical. It was lived, tested in the crucibles of power. Extending this, consider domination through narrative control. Women often construct realities through stories. Machiavelli hijacked this by authoring the plot. In interactions, frame events to cast yourself as hero, her as damsel or ally, subtly rewrite histories, remember how we connected instantly, even if manufactured. This gaslighting light implants false memories, aligning her perception with yours. Psychologically, repetition solidifies beliefs. Repeat affirmations until they become truth. He used this in letters, crafting epistles that romanticize encounters, binding recipients emotionally. Today, texts or calls serve similarly drip-feed narratives that evolve her role from peripheral to central, under your direction. Introduce conflicts you resolve, manufacturing drama to showcase prowess, the contradiction. Chaos you create, peace you provide. This cycle's dependency, her seeking your stability. Sensory details, anchor stories, recall shared scents, sounds, making them vivid, inescapable. Tactically, employ mirroring, mimic her gestures, language, building rapport subconsciously. Machiavelli, a keen observer, noted how courtiers synced with queens to gain favor. This neuro-linguistic programming forges bonds, her feeling understood on primal levels. But twist it, mirror desires, then redirect them toward your objectives. If she craves adventure, promise it laced with control. The immersion intensifies as she internalizes your worldview, emotions dominated through shared lenses. Social tactics amplify, isolate her from detractors, positioning yourself as so confident. Machiavelli advised dividing enemies. Here, sow doubts about friends, amplifying your influence. Psychologically, isolation heightens attachment, her world narrowing to you. Contradict with inclusivity illusions. We're a team against the world, fostering us versus them mentality. This tribal psychology binds fiercely. Through these layers, control solidifies not overt, but woven into her psyche's fabric. As we progress, these strategies interlink, forming a web of influence that's resilient, adaptive. Machiavelli's hidden psychology endures because it mirrors eternal truths. Humans crave connection, fear loss, seek meaning. By manipulating these, one commands not just actions, but souls. In the next phase, we unpack psychological profiling, decoding her type for tailored tactics. Women aren't monolithic. Machiavelli categorized allies and foes by traits. Some respond to flattery, others challenge. Assess via questions, probing values, fears. If independent, feign admiration, while introducing subtle guidance. Sensory cues reveal dilated pupils, signal attraction, crossed arms resistance. He trained in physiognomy, reading faces like texts. Modernly, body language apps echo this. Once profiled, deploy customized domination. For romantics, poetic overtures. For pragmatists, utility promises. The contradiction, universal principles, personalized execution. This precision immerses her Foley tactics resonating deeply. Build on this with emotional escalation. Start slow, ramp intensity. Machiavelli's sieges weren't rushed. Patience wore down walls. In relations, gradual investment prevents alarm. Share escalating secrets, demanding reciprocity. Psychologically, sunk cost fallacy kicks in. She's invested too much to withdraw. Anchor peaks with sensory highs, intense gazes, lingering touches, retract during valleys, creating craving. This operant conditioning trains responses, her emotions, your puppet. Socially, leverage networks, introduce allies who reinforce your narrative. Machiavelli built coalitions. Here, friends vouching amplify credibility. Contradict isolation with curated community, all under your sway. The mystery deepens. Layers peeled reveal more enigmas, keeping her hooked. Through rhythmic fluidity, immersion peaks her psyche, yours to mold. Delving further into tactical depth, explore the power of implied threats. Machiavelli warned that fear sustains rule better than love alone. Subtly applied, this dominates without overt coercion. Hint at withdrawal, letting silence speak volumes. Women, fearing emotional voice, concede. Sensory withdrawal, no text, absent warmth amplifies impact. But balance with returns, rewarding compliance. This push-pull mirrors abusive cycles but sanitized for control. He used it in negotiations, withdrawing favor to extract concessions. Psychologically, intermittent reinforcement addicts strongest. Contradiction, kindness, laced with peril, making affection precious. Socially, rumor mills serve, plant whispers of your desirability, stoking jealousy. Machiavelli manipulated gossip. Here, it elevates status, her fighting to retain you. Immersion through constant mental occupation, dreams, thoughts, dominated. As strategies compound, transformation ensues. From autonomous to aligned, her will bent subtly. Machiavelli's genius. Control feels like choice. In synthesis, these blocks forge unbreakable bonds. Now, as threats converge, reflect on the profound shift this knowledge imparts. You've journeyed through shadows of the mind, uncovering levers that move worlds. This isn't mere theory, it's a blueprint for mastery, transforming interactions from chance to certainty. Emotions, once chaotic, become tools, relations, canvases for your design. The woman in the palace, she awoke, changed, her path forever altered by unseen forces. So too can you will this, crafting realities where influence flows effortlessly. Embrace it and watch the meanings unfold. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button now, join the inner circle, unlocking more hidden truths. Like, if you're ready to apply these, comment your biggest takeaway below and share with someone who needs this edge. Your engagement fuels the fire. Let's build empires together.